Hello, my friends. I bid you all a very warm welcome from the realmnews studio. I am your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. Today, I have an interesting episode for you that is over the potato. Yes, the overworld spud in all of its glory. I have been rather curious about the Minecraft potato ever since 2024's April Fool's Day joke that ended up being an entire add-on called the Poisonous Potato Add-on. Today, I will cover the realm segment of the show. This is what it will be: the history of the overworld potato, its uses, and nutritional value. In the real segment, I will also explain to you the potato's history, nutritional value, and its significance. That will be all after this week's poll, which you will not want to miss. It's about llamas, and I received some awesome comments from the Minecraft community over llamas. So, without further ado, let's start the show. It's poll time! Welcome to Poll Time, my friends. For those of you who are new to the show and are not familiar with Poll Time, well, it's a weekly poll that I put on Reddit and let the Minecraft community vote and leave comments. And I have a great poll today with some great comments. I asked this question in relation to llamas. Quote, I am curious, do you all tame or use llamas in your overworld? I have 2 llamas that I have tamed and put red carpets on with chests, but I have never used them. I just want to know what you use yours for, if you do at all. End quote. That was a question that I posed in the Minecraft Reddit communities, specifically the realmnews subreddit and the Minecraft_survival subreddit. I received about as much feedback as I did votes, which the total votes for this week, yes or no poll, are 22 total votes. I received the same amount of comments. 22. I love that people are getting involved and engaging with the poll. Makes me so happy, and not hoppy, my God. It makes me so happy, and it's just amazing to see that this uptick in engagement with the poll. I love that. Let's keep up this amazing momentum with all the comments, my friends. Tell your friends to vote and to listen to the show. Now, let's dive into the results. The loser this week with 8 total votes is the Yes Group. Unfortunately, people have other means for transporting their goods and wares around the overworld than using the llama. However, there are many people in the comments section that do use llamas for great use, and I'll get to those in a moment. Allow me to tell you how many votes the No Group or the winner of the poll this week earned. The No Group beat the Yes Group by 6 votes, with a grand total of 14. The people have spoken, and they say they do not use the llama for transporting or storing their items. I personally fall into this category. I have 2 llamas in my second biggest city named Charmois. They are adorned with carpets and chests, as I've already stated. However, they are just for show and serve me no purpose. They're kind of an experiment. I just wanted to test them out. Now, I have nothing against these animals. No, none at all. I love to see them roam the overworld, and I let them be. I don't collect leather from them. I have read some amazing comments that actually make me want to start using llamas more, or at least keep them around my towns for visual appeal. Speaking of comments, I would like to now transition over to those, and do so by starting with a familiar person to Realm News. That would be my friend, apprehensive_hat 8986. Quote, gotta catch 'em all. I've done a breeding farm. I've done the Big Llama trade convoy, but I just have some sitting in a pen with a donkey in my current world. Traders keep wandering off without them. Eventually, I may set up a trade route again, but currently most projects are smaller scale. End quote. I made this response back. Quote, I imagine that they would essentially be useless unless they were planning a huge project. I suppose that is why I never use them. though I am a builder and I may have to try them out, end quote. And I mean by builder by I love to build towns. I meant that, and I heard from a few commenters that they use llamas for making huge builds, which makes sense. Also, I've never tamed a donkey. I that's something that I will do soon because I just never have, and I like to do things just to try it. Thank you, apprehensive_hat 8986 for your comment. Let's move on to the next person who goes by Philodoxos. Quote, I have a couple with the max inventory slots and I think max health. And at some point, I might try to breed up a few more. Would be fun to do a huge build with all the materials in a caravan of llamas full of shulker boxes, smiley face, end quote. Great comment. And this shows that people use a llama for transporting a vast amount of building materials for constructing massive structures. As I already stated, I need to start doing this. I have built a couple huge structures, but nothing at a large scale. Not like anything that you would see online in these YouTube videos. I think my palace is maybe my biggest structure that I personally built, or perhaps the reflection room in my sea town. But I'm keen to trying to build something truly spectacular one day. Also, that would be a massive amount of material if you are filling up shulker boxes like they said inside of a llama chest. I can't even imagine what you are building. And a caravan full of them? Wow. Okay, talk about ambitious. Thank you so much, Philodoxos. Next, we have a person who goes by Tabesicate, who says, quote, I haven't played a game yet where I found them in the wild while exploring on foot. I often changed creative to fly to find a home base or explore, and I found llamas once this way but never went back to get them. I get my llamas by managing to break the lead to the wandering trader and breeding them. I love the carpets on them, different designs, and so interesting. And I've used them twice only. If I'm building very nearby to fill their chest and my inventory to bring everything over in one go. Then I usually just leave them staked out until I put them back. I'm tempted to just wander over to the local desert village with a few llamas all kitted out like I'm doing a traveling caravan. End quote. That shocks me. I can't believe that they are having that hard of a time finding llamas. I just have so many in my world. I guess I'm just llama blessed. I have a lot of savanna biomes, so that might be why I'm full of them. But that is clever to break a wandering trader's lead and take their llamas and breed them. That is something I should probably start doing. Also, I do love all the dyed carpets and their unique patterns that are created when placed on a llama. I made a post on realmnews' Patreon and asked the community which of the llama carpets they like best. Also, I love that caravan idea. Ever since I made the episode titled Llama Glama, I have wanted to start a caravan. I think it would just be very cool. Thank you, Tabesicate, for that awesome comment. Now let's move on to Big Powerful Belly, who says, quote, I have 4 llamas tamed with chests. 2 have max inventory slots. I fill them up with wool and crops to sell at nearby village. They are very handy early game when you don't have shulker boxes. End quote. I thought that was a great comment because all the others so far were for hauling building supplies to a location in order to build something. Big Powerful Belly takes them another direction by using them to transport goods to villages in order to trade with them. I think this is a very practical way to get emeralds and to make some hard money with your llamas. And I can see them being a great alternative to a shulker box. I may need to explore this as a storage option in some of my villages and cities within the Ombre Dieu Empire. Thank you so much, Big Powerful Belly, for that amazing comment. I have one last comment that I would like to read to you all before we can conclude poll time. This comment comes from fellow Minecrafter Nightstake, who says, quote, I tamed them simply to breed them. On the survival server I play on, their natural spawning has been turned off. So the few that spawned with the world naturally when the server updated and expanded are an endangered species I've been trying to repopulate. End quote. I love how they turn off the llama's natural spawn and only can find them by going far, far away to newly generated patches of the overworld. That is neat that the llama is essentially an endangered species in their world and that they have to search far and wide in order to obtain them and breed them. I like the challenge that you put on yourself in order to make a more rewarding and enriching gaming experience. Thank you so much, Nightsteak, for that amazing comment that you shared with us. I hope to hear more comments from you in the future on poll time. That brings us to the end of this week's poll. If you would like to participate in these polls, then you can go to r/realmnews at Reddit or go to bio.link/realmnews, all lowercase. Again, that's bio.link/realmnews. There you can find Realm News' Reddit link and other socials. Sign up to Patreon while We are in the reel, my friends. I hope that was a smooth transition for you all coming from poll time. As you're aware, we are talking about potatoes today, and I couldn't think of a better way than to give you a little science behind the potato before I delved into the human history of the spud. The basic nutritional value of a medium-sized potato, the russet potato, is 168 calories, 37 grams, carbohydrates, 4 grams fiber, 2 grams sugar, 5 grams protein. It's packed full of minerals as well, such as, I'll list off these daily values here as percentages. 20% of your daily value in potassium, 16% vitamin C, and 36% vitamin B6. Other nutrients that you can find in this medium-sized russet potato is small amounts of vitamins such as A, K, and B, as well as minerals like iron, calcium, and magnesium. According to Medline Plus, I'll go ahead and describe the three here, the vitamin B6, potassium, and vitamin C. Vitamin C is an essential water-soluble vitamin that is vital in the functions of repairing scar tissues, absorption of iron, and helps form the collagen protein, which in turn aids in skin health and many other functions. It also helps block damage from free radicals in the body and much, much more. Vitamin B6 is also water-soluble. It helps in antibody production, which in turn aids the immune system. It keeps nerve functions working properly. Also, blood sugar is kept regular with vitamin B6. Moving on to potassium, it is a mineral that acts as that is a type of electrolyte. It doesn't act as one. It helps in many vital functions, such as keeping your heartbeat regular, allowing your nerves and muscles to contract, and helps move nutrients into cells and removes waste from them, and serves many more uses than what I've read off just there. I just wanted to give you an understanding that the potato is a very important food to humans. It contains many vitamins and minerals that our bodies require in order to function properly. Now that we know a bit about the nutritional value of the potato, let's explore where it is from, its origins. Interesting enough, the potato is taking us back to a familiar continent and two familiar countries, Peru and Bolivia, down in South America. Same places that we discussed in the Llama Glama episode. Llamas or guanacos hail from the Andes Mountains, which go through these countries. I found a great article at smithsonianmag.com titled How Potatoes Changed the World, written by Charles C. Mann and published November 2011. older article, but I recommend that you check it out in the show description. It is extremely fascinating and very well written, like many of Smithsonian Magazine's articles. The scientific nomenclature to the potato was given by a Swiss naturalist named Gaspard Buin in 1596, which is Solanum tuberosum esculentum. It has been simplified down to Solanum tuberosum, which makes it easier to say for me. The potato, when breaking away from its Latin name, is a tuber or root crop because it grows underground. It being subterranean has its advantages in comparison to its counterparts like the top-heavy wheat or rice crop. When those two fall to the ground, they are pretty much dead, and it just takes storms or heavy winds to knock them down and destroy them. The potato is more protected from such elements due to it being sheltered by the earth. The wild potato originally comes from the South American continent, specifically in the harsh Andes Mountains. It's no wonder that the potato is so hardy. It evolved in an extremely harsh environment. The Andes form a 5,500 mile or 8,851 kilometer mountain range, where most of it is at an elevation of 22,000 feet or 6,705 meters above sea level. The atmosphere at this altitude is extremely thin. It lacks a lot of oxygen and does not hold heat at all. The temperatures can range from 75 degrees Fahrenheit to freezing in a matter of hours. For my metric friends, that's a range of about 24 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius. You wouldn't want to be caught off guard in that temperature shift. Now, not only are the temperatures extreme, so is the climate. The mountain range consists of a series of volcanoes. There are geological fault lines that collide into one another, causing earthquakes that in turn lead to avalanches and floods. Many different cultures vied for territory amongst the Andes, but the Incan people are the people who flourished here and built a massive empire along with extensive roads. That was all before the Spanish soldiers arrived and laid waste to all that with their guns, germs, and steel. Here's an interesting fact that I found simply intriguing. There have been cataloged around 5,000 different types of spuds, and they are preserved at the International Potato Center in Peru. People identify potatoes by their land race, quote unquote. For example, a research team identified over 10 different land races all around one village in Peru. Each one even had its own name. Some individual potato fields have had 20 different land races in them. Each of these potatoes look vastly different from one another. Each is a different shape, size, and color. Some are deep purple, others an apple red, and all varying in between. Check out this Smithsonian article I will provide and see the picture that I'm referring to. It's at the header of that article. They just look simply beautiful. Even though most commercial fields in Peru are producing only Idaho potatoes for city folk, people of the Andes in Peru and Bolivia still dine on wild potatoes. But you must be careful when eating wild potatoes because they contain a couple of poisonous compounds in them, solanine and tomatine. Scientists think that these compounds are evolutionary defenses against fungi and bacteria. However, they are toxic to humans and a few other animals. Not lethal per se, but will make you feel ill. According to the Smithsonian, many poisonous compounds in foods can be cooked out through the application of heat. But solanine and tomatine are heat resistant and do not lose their toxicity when heated up. But the Incan people were very clever by watching how llamas ate potatoes. Llamas will lick clay before ingesting poisonous plants, potatoes included. The clay acts as a binding agent to the toxins. It allows the potatoes to pass through the llama's digestive system without harming them. So, the Incan people did the same thing. Today, people of Peru and Bolivia still sell clay powder along the potatoes at the market. They make a gravy that consists of water and clay and smother the potatoes in it in order for it to be digestible. I wonder what it tastes like. I truly do. Obviously, this is not the only thing they add to the potatoes. No, they have many recipes on how to cook them. They mash, boil, and bake them like we do in the West, but they have other methods that are much more exotic and less bland than how Westerners prepare spuds. I want to describe one potato recipe that stood out to me in this article. It's called chuño. I went ahead and watched a YouTube video on how chuño is made. The video is called The Process of Making Chuño in Local Bolivian Communities. I'll leave it in the show description. I recommend watching the video. It's only 6 minutes long and is extremely fascinating to watch how the local people carry out this process. It is simple yet complex at the same time. Allow me to explain what I saw in the video. The whole process starts with 3 days of freezing, thawing, and mashing. The video opens up in the Bolivian country, in the Andes, I'm guessing due to the mountain in the backdrop. You see several people dancing or moving their feet on top of the piles of potatoes that are all over this vast field. It just appears that they're dancing. They are making chuño and another type of potato called tunta. The difference between the two in the process of making it is that chuño is stepped on and tunta is not stepped on. They place the potatoes outside on the surface of a field during autumn or in June or July. June and July are fall time in the southern hemisphere. Remember, opposite seasons compared to what we experience in the northern hemisphere. They place them outside in the fall because at nights the temperature dips below freezing. This freezing is essential to the process of drying out the potatoes and turning the potatoes into chuño. They wake up in the mornings and proceed to step on the many, many piles of potatoes that have become chilled from the frigid night's air. Stepping on them helps expel and also peels off the skins. In the video, one of the people picks up a potato that they are stepping on and peels off a bit of its skin. And this is amazing because water just proceeds to drip out of it in large droplets. It was quite amazing to watch how efficient this process is at dehydrating potatoes. The skin being peeled off also helps speed up the drying process. After stepping on them, they spread them back out evenly across the surface of the earth and move on to the next pile to repeat the process. They do this for 3 days straight until they are as dry as they can get them by stepping on them. After those 3 days, they allow the potatoes to sit in the sun until dried out fully. This process does something amazing to the potatoes. Smithsonian Magazine describes these as resembling gnocchi. They are much lighter and sort of like styrofoam without water in them. But the miraculous thing is that chuño can be stored up to 10 years when complete, ensuring that the community has a sustainable food supply during tough times or times of famine. This was also why the Incan Empire flourished. They were able to feed their military and populace with chuño. Chuño, when ready to be eaten, is rehydrated with water. It is typically made with soups, stews, or you can just cook them and eat them with corn and cheese as they do. That is just one example of how the people of the Andes use the potato. I found it to be extremely interesting, and I hope you do too. Again, please go check out that short YouTube video that I will provide the link to in the show note or the show description. I would like to now shift back to the SmithsonianMag.com's article from earlier. Today, some villages in the Andes will celebrate a harvest by building earth fireplaces that are about 18 inches tall or 46 centimeters tall for my metric friends. They will get the ovens piping hot until they turn white from the heat. They get it hot by adding in straw, stalks, and grass, even dung, anything that is combustible to get it hot. Once the fuel is reduced down to cinders, they will put the potatoes on top of it and let them cook. Once done, they smother salt and edible clay onto the potatoes and eat them. Supposedly, the aroma from the fires can be smelled wafting miles upon miles through the Andes during these celebrations. I think it would be fun to participate in this. I would like to see this tradition carried out. Just out of curiosity, I really would. However, the potato did not remain contained in the Andes forever. This is obvious, because potatoes can be found all over the globe. I just had one, I guarantee, within the past week. Heck, I'm pretty sure I put a photo of one I ate a sweet potato of a week ago on my Patreon. This band for the making. It was for the making of this, folks. Join the Patreon and check out all the amazing photos I post. Potatoes I eat and all. The Spaniards, during their insatiable appetite for wealth and power, had, coincidentally, with the discovery of South America and the Incan Empire, also discovered the potato. A European named Francisco Pizarro and his men were the first Europeans to lay eyes on these odd-looking round things that the locals were eating, the potato. The year was 1532 when Pizarro witnessed this, and it did not take long before it was introduced to Europe. Shortly after Pizarro's potato discovery, the Spanish had started to ship potatoes to the Canary Islands, and from there to France and the Netherlands, and obviously Spain. Potatoes took a while before they became popular. To the people who had never seen a potato before, it looked very alien. There are no seeds. Rather, you use pieces of the potato to grow more potatoes. What is this? It wasn't until 1744 in Prussia that the potato had its debut. King Frederick the Great was a potato connoisseur who ordered his peasantry to eat potatoes when the country was facing famine. France was slow to adopt the potato and would take the influence of a man named Antoine Augustin Parmentier, or the potato's version of Johnny Appleseed, to popularize the tuber. Parmentier was acquainted with the potato when he was captive during the 7-Year War between France and Prussia. Prussia, being potato lovers, only fed Parmentier potatoes during his 5 different prison stints. Parmentier was a nutritional chemist, and he found it rather shocking how potatoes kept him in excellent health during his time in prison. When the war ended in 1763, he gave his life to promoting the root crop. If you want to hear more about Parmentier, then you'll have to sign up to Patreon's Diamond tier. I plan on making a bonus episode with Parmentier being the real and the wild potato update from Minecraft, the realm segments of that show. So, go sign up and listen to that. Until the potato arrived in Europe, the Europeans simply were not able to provide enough food to feed the population. Famines were extremely common. Between 1500 and 1800 CE, the French faced 50 national famines and many more at local levels. England had around 17 major national famines between 1523 to 1623. Europe just could not feed itself. That all changed when the potato arrived and became popular. This literally doubled the food supply, and for the first time in history, or European history, nations had a surplus of food. The potato is responsible for fueling the European collective and thus leading to a few nation states who went on to conquer most of the known world. That influence is still vastly seen and felt today. Allow me to pull a quote from the Smithsonian from a historian by the name of William H. McNeill, who says, quote, "By feeding rapidly growing populations, it permitted a handful of European nations to assert dominion over most of the world between 1750 and 1950, end quote. Besides empire building, the potato is used for much more than just food. We humans have found some creative uses for the potato. According to scipotato.org, potato starch is used in many important products, in pharmaceuticals, textiles, wood, and in paper. It is used as an adhesive, texture agent, and filler in the paper industry. The oil drilling industry uses this starch to wash boreholes. Plastic knives, forks, and paper plates are made from potatoes as well. The peelings or skins Alpha potatoes are also used because they are rich in starch. Industrial complexes will liquefy the peelings and turn them into ethanol, which is a biofuel. Potatoes are also used in feed for pigs. The potato is extremely useful, and I have only touched the tip of the iceberg when it comes to presenting you all with potato information. But that is all I have on the real world potato for today, my friends. If you want to learn more about the potato, then sign up and become a Diamond Tier member at my Patreon and get access to the bonus episode. I would like to now move on to the realm. Welcome to the realm, my friends. We are in the Lord's Keep that is positioned on the very top of a headwall overlooking a natural village I named Alp. And yes, it's the same village that is based in my book, Torvingi, in the village of Alp. In the village of Alp is a potato farmer where I stole his potatoes and brought them into my keep's greenhouse that is now growing potatoes. I thrive on potatoes like the Inca did in the Andes, except I am on Mount Needle. I have grown to love them as a food source while meandering the overworld. They are cheap to grow and plentiful. I put them in the furnace and make baked potatoes to increase their nutritional value. Before I tell you more about the potatoes' benefits and uses, I would like to first tell you about their history in Minecraft. The potato first made its debut to Minecraft on October 25th, 2012. This marked the Java 1.4.2 update called the Pretty Scary Update, which also included witches, bats, wither skeletons, zombie villagers, and much more. The history of the potato is not terribly extensive compared to some other items that I have reported on in the past or other episodes. So I would like to move us on to where they naturally generate in the game. The potato can be found in several places. I'd like to start with villages. Yes, villagers love to grow potatoes and can even be bred by feeding them 12 potatoes. However, not all villages grow them. It appears that Mojang kept true to the potato and made it most likely to show up in snowy biomes, just like the potato comes from the frigid Andes Mountains. You will have a 70% chance of finding a potato patch in a snow village, 15% chance at a plains village, and a measly 10% chance at a taiga village. If you do not find a potato patch, then you have a chance of finding one as mob loot from a zombie. Zombies in the form of husks, zombie villagers, and regular zombies have a 0.83% chance of dropping a potato. Just a fraction of a percent. It's small, but it does occur. In Java, they will instead drop a potato, or a baked potato, if killed by fire or a flame enchantment, which I thought was just really cool and clever. I wish we had that for Bedrock. If you still cannot find a potato, then I recommend raiding villager chests and other structures for potential potatoes. Allow me to read off where you can find these tubers and their percentages. Now, this is all for Bedrock Edition. I just want to let you know. And this is where you can find them. I'll start with the bonus chest, which I had to look up what the bonus chest was because I never heard of this. And it turns out, in fact, let me just pull this quote from minecraft.wiki. This is where I got the information from anyways. The bonus chest is a feature that appears near the player's spawn if the bonus chest option is toggled on the Create New World screen. It generates with a semi-random collection of basic items to help the player survive early on and gather necessary resources, including tools, blocks, and food. So now that we know what bonus chest is, I'll go ahead and tell you what you can find in there when it comes to potatoes. There's a 50% chance of finding in that chest 1 to 2 potatoes. Moving down to, it says a pillager chest. It looks like the pillager outpost will have a 57.5% chance of having 2 to 5 potatoes. A shipwreck supply chest will have a 42.1% chance of holding 2 to 6 potatoes. A snowy house in a snowy village biome will have a 66.3% chance of having 1 to 7 potatoes. A Tioga village in its chest in one of those houses will have a 69.3% chance of having 1 to 7 potatoes. A Plains village will have a 74.2% chance of having 1 to 7 potatoes. So now, hopefully, you have acquired a potato finally with all that information on hand. I recommend keeping it so we can farm it into more potatoes. Don't just eat it right now. It's really easy to farm them. You can use a hoe to break the ground and plant the potato like any other crop. It grows faster when near a water source like other crops as well. This may sound funny, but the potato has 8 growth stages. You only see 4 visible signs of growth. And the other 4 ticks are the game cycle, which is invisible to us. Potatoes need a light level of 9 or higher to grow. And once they start growing, it will take 20 minutes for it to become a mature adult. Once mature, you can break the potato plant with your bare hands or with any hoe. Breaking a potato will yield between 2 to 5 potatoes. It will not take you too long to have a large crop of potatoes and a chest full of them. Trust me, it doesn't take long. And folks, I apologize that the heater kicked on in my apartment. I usually do a really good job remembering turning that off before I record or shoot my episodes, but I forgot. So my apologies. Hopefully it's not making too much noise or muffling the sound or audio quality of this podcast episode. Let me go ahead. Let me continue. Sorry. You can increase your potato yield by using a fortune enchanted hoe. Once you have harvested all the potatoes that you want, you can now use them as a food source, or you can use them to lure and or breed pigs. Yes, the potato is used to breed adult pigs together. Just feed 1 potato each to an adult, and they will spawn a baby pig together. You can then feed the baby more potatoes to speed up its growth into an adult. But you too can eat potatoes, either raw or baked. Eating a raw potato will fill your hunger meter by 1 point and 0.6 saturation, which is not much. That is why I bake my potatoes to increase their nutritional value. A baked potato will provide you with 5 hunger points and raise your saturation by 6. That is a significant difference. What is that, 4 hunger point difference? Increase by 4? Yeah, that's worth it, folks. You can bake potatoes on a campfire, smoker, or in a furnace. It will only take 10 seconds to bake a potato, and a smoker will speed this up by half the time. You can then go ahead and incorporate the baked potato into a more satisfying meal, rabbit stew, which requires a baked potato, 1 cooked rabbit, 1 mushroom, a carrot, and a wooden bowl. Also, 1 baked potato has an 85% chance of raising the compost level by 1. That is compared to 1 raw potato, which has a 65% chance of doing the same thing. You can also earn some emeralds with potatoes by trading them with a farmer. There's a 40% chance that you will encounter a potato farmer that is willing to buy 26 potatoes for 1 emerald. Now, 26 potatoes sounds like quite a bit, but it really isn't. Like I said, it's really easy to acquire a healthy surplus of potatoes in the overworld. Before I conclude this week's episode over the potato, I will tell you a bit about the poisonous potato. The poisonous potato was released in the very same update as the regular potato and is something very intriguing. There is a 2% chance of a poisonous potato being amongst your crop of healthy potatoes. You can in fact choose to ingest this if you so desire. The odd thing about it is that it actually provides more health points and more saturation points than a healthy raw potato. Double the points, in fact. It provides 2 hunger points and 1.2 saturation. But there is a 60% chance of it harming you. That's the pitfall here. If it poisons you, then you will suffer from 5 seconds of health loss, equaling out to losing 4 points of health or 2 ham shanks in your hunger bar. In your hunger bar. If you don't obtain one from your crop, then I recommend, 2 hearts from your heart bar, your health meter. Sorry, getting my meters mixed up there, folks. So you will lose 4 health points. If you don't obtain a poisonous potato from your crop and you really want to obtain them, then go search some chests and shipwrecks. They have a 42% chance of yielding 2 to 5 poisonous potatoes. Besides eating it and taking the chance of being poisoned, there really is nothing else that you can do with them. You cannot use them in the composter nor plant them. They can't even be baked. But they were inspirational enough that Mojang had an entire add-on made for 2024's April Fools. It was called the Poisonous Potato Add-on and was created by Jiggerbov Productions. And I will not be talking any further on that today. And instead will recommend that you go sign up and become a Diamond Tier member so you can access that bonus episode and much, much more. I hope that you all had a great time today learning about the Minecraft potato at Realm News. That wraps up everything I have on the topic today, folks. The potato has been a staple food for societies for well over 7,000 years and helped Europe finally not starve. In fact, it had the opposite effect on Europe. The introduction of the potato allowed Europe to create a surplus of food and led to a handful of European nations to conquer most of the world and turn it into colonies. Besides it being used to fuel the imperial West, it was a vital food for the Incan Empire and still for the people of Bolivia and Peru and villages across the Andes Mountains today. I found it utterly fascinating to learn how these ancient people observed how llamas ingested potatoes by licking clay before eating them in order to absorb the toxins. I also enjoyed telling you all about how to farm your own potatoes in Minecraft and how to benefit from them. I hope that you start to raise more potato crops in your world after listening to today's Realm News. With that said, I wish you all a wonderful rest of your week and happy crafting. I will see you all next Tuesday at Realm News Flash, at my Patreon, and next Thursday for a brand new Realm News. The Dark Lord. Signing out. Hello, Realm News fans. I just want to pop back in here and just tell you how much I appreciate you for listening to the show. It means the world to me that you tune in every week to listen to me, the Dark Lord. The one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I am honored to be your host and to be able to deliver you weekly, original Minecraft content with Realm News Flash and Realm News on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you enjoy the show, I would love it if you would tell your friends about it and tell them to follow it. Hit that like button and leave a comment. I know that on Spotify you can leave comments on individual episodes. Same on Good Pods. I am not sure about all the other podcast player platforms out there, but I appreciate feedback, so please comment if you're able to. If you can't, comment wherever you listen to Realm News, then you can by following Realm News at either its Twitter, now X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or email, which is all found at bio.link/realmnews, all lowercase. Again, that's bio.link/realmnews. There you can become a Realm News Patreon member. I urge you all to sign up to the Copper or Diamond tier and get early access to episodes, bonus episodes, newsletters, and ebooks. Find my prices at my Patreon link, all found at bio.link/realmnews. I understand times are tough, and I do not expect anyone to give me money. I'm just saying that if you're able to, it's very much appreciated. However, you can show your appreciation by just listening, liking, following, or recommending the show, as I said earlier. That means more than you would ever know. With that said, I wish you all happy crafting, and I look forward to talking to you at the next Realm News. The Dark Lord. Signing out.